Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and it is Christmas morning. And my 11-year-old just said, "Daddy, why are you working on Christmas?" And I said, "That's just what I do." When your work is your hobby and your interest, a lot of us are sitting in front of phones and computers this morning. That's kind of how it goes. This is the stuff I look at. This is what I enjoy. XRP has 74% spike as price goes Christmas green. Christmas comes in time for XRP as it eyes 74% surge in trading volume, propelling its price to a 2-week high, 64 cents. Let me look at it right now because I wasn't really paying much attention this morning. It's at like 63 cents, almost 64 cents right now. Check this out. eGrag Crypto, short-term move target. Take it step by step, then rocket to the stars. The battleground for bulls lies beyond a closure above 64 cents for XRP. Stay steady. In the future, we'll be talking about numbers like $6.40, $64.30, $643.20, $6,432 and beyond. Remember, steady strides pave the path to these heights. I hope he's right. Ooh. Oh, what would happen then? Or even then. Woo. All right, now, folks, I've learned anytime you see the establishment mainstream media telling you something like this, the translation is what they should do is before they do this segment, they should call the segment "What We're Planning for You in 2024," because anytime they say stuff like this, it means they've already planned this for you.
Well, mine's a little dark. I just feel a lot of concern that 2024 may be the year of a black swan event. This is a national security event with high impact.
I was just handed my talking points to go ahead and prepare you mentally for the black swan event that we're going to create. That's what that means.
To predict. There are a number of concerns.
So that we can scare you into guiding you into wherever we want to herd the sheep.
Have that factor into that. Not only this sort of enduring heightened threat level that we're facing, the wars in Israel, also Ukraine. And we're so divided in this country in ways that we haven't seen before. And I think that just creates fertile ground for our adversaries like North Korea, China, and Iran. And that's
Let me tell you something, folks. For the last 5 years, has it not felt like you're in some kind of a movie or in the Matrix or it's weird. It's been weird. At the end of this video in DAIXRP.com, if you're not convinced after you watch what I show you in DAIXRP.com that we're living in a movie, you'll never be convinced because it is unbelievable what I saw going around yesterday. I'm going to show it at the end of this. Now, check this out. Jim Rickards talking. If there is a black swan coming, if there are going to be cyber pandemics where there's some cyber attack, they keep talking about this and like they know it's coming, prepping us for something. Physical gold, by the way, Miles Franklin is one of my sponsors. It's all in the description. Use code DAI Gold. And you can call the email and the phone numbers in the description of this video.
Gold is the only form of money that the whole world could agree on. If you want to get away from the dollar, there's nowhere else to go because nothing else, is suitable. So that's going to drive the price of gold higher. As long-winded answer to your question, Greg, gold's going to go a lot higher. Now, if you take it a step further and get into a world where, okay, not only is gold a reserve asset, but we're going to go to something kind of looks like a gold standard, maybe in stages, not all at once. What does the dollar price of gold have to be to support commerce, to support all the payments and all the trade and all the investment and all the, as I said, the payments and capital flows in the world? Where would it have to be? Well, I've done that math, and the answer at the low end is $15,000 an ounce. I used to say 10, but that was true 7, 8 years ago when I started. But it's a simple equation. But money supply is one of the inputs into the equation. So as the money supply increases, which it has, the dollar price of gold has to be higher to work. So it's not like I just made up a new number. It's like, well, you change the inputs, the output's going to change. So today would be closer to $15,000 an ounce. At the low end, now you can change some assumptions, use M2 instead of M1, use 100% backing instead of 40% backing. You get to $40,000 an ounce real fast. But and I've seen other analysts kind of reach the same conclusion recently. So $15,000 an ounce, give or take, is a realistic level for something that looks like a gold standard that's non-deflationary. Now, you can have a lower dollar price for gold, but if you do, you're going to have to lower the money supply to make it work, and that's going to be deflationary, and nobody wants that. So that's where gold's going. But in the short run, yeah, it's going to go. I always tell people it's got to get to 3,000 before it gets to 5,000. So, you can pencil in $3,000 an ounce in the not distant future.
I agree with that. Now, Eleanor Terrett had put this out, confirming the date for final amendments. This is the Bitcoin ETF. Gary Gensler has given them till December 29th to give the final amendments. You have to wonder if Gary Gensler's trying to, on January 1st, put out an announcement that he's approved some of these ETFs. You have to wonder. Now, here's an interesting commentary on this issue.
Based on the size of the folks looking to make these ETFs and their user base, I think it could be quite significant for our industry as a whole. I think it'll show very clearly that TradFi is a very big player in the blockchain space and in the DeFi space. My view has always been that TradFi and the traditional capital markets are actually the biggest net buyer, the biggest net customer of things like Bitcoin. That will begin to take shape more and more through things like the Bitcoin ETF. I think, though, it'll go very far beyond that because fundamentally, this technology is about creating better transactions, more transparent transactions, less risky transactions, more high-quality relationships between counterparties, which is fundamentally what the entire banking, capital markets, and asset management sectors are really about. And so I think the Bitcoin ETF is an efficient initial step where the bigger players in the capital markets allow folks to access cryptocurrencies. But I think they will then go on to make more and more advanced financial products of their own, and eventually even define their own decentralized finance protocols that interact with the decentralized finance protocols on public chains. And This is where our infrastructure comes in to create that connectivity and interaction, both among Web3 protocols, among capital markets protocols, and very importantly, between Web3 and capital markets.
Okay. Then we have this. Now, yesterday I had, look, dimes to donuts, folks. I've been in this a long time. Anytime you see all the normal, the standard, usual suspect talking heads that are paid crypto media start touting something in unison, like they have talking points, that's what Bitcoin and Ethereum was like. That's what they did. We're seeing the same thing with Solana now, and you have to remember that Solana was tied to FTX. This guy right here is over the target. I still remember this video, and that's why I know Sol has no fundamentals, but to be weaponized as the next Luna FTX. Look, folks, that's what they do, is they take these different things and they weaponize them to try to taint crypto. Look at what was done with FTX. But he says it perfect here. Fundamentals to be weaponized as the next Luna, FTX, DAO, and long, etc. of manipulation by VCs and high interest. Up to you, but I am shorting. Now, I'm not saying that the guys that started Solana did not create a good product or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're behind anything. But for whatever reason, Solana was a huge part of FTX. The video is right there, folks. And if you look at it, there's a reason that it's pumping, and it doesn't have to do with the markets. It has to do with that FTX bankruptcy. Write it down. And let's not forget, Caitlin Long, remember what they did in 2022 to crypto. She says, oh, this is perfect. What a difference a year makes. SBF was rightly adjudicated to be the outright fraud he is. And Bitcoin was rightly revealed to be unstoppable force it is yet again. Can you hear the gnashing of DC's elite teeth, lamenting both of the above outcomes? Now, remember this? This is the economist that is owned by all the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, deep state, whatever. Crypto's downfall. This was back in 2022. Almost as if they engineered FTX, right? And let's not forget, folks, because I put this out this morning because I wanted to remind everybody. I went back and looked. Can anyone help me here? According to this article, Gary Gensler had a 45-minute Zoom call with SBF on March 23rd, 2022. I can't find it on Gary's calendar. What's Gary hiding? Patrick McHenry, you said you were going to subpoena him. When subpoena? FOIA madness. John D. Copied everybody in here. This is the article. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler met with head of FTX months before the collapse. Controversial tenure as a chairman of the Securities Exchange Commission could reach peak drama over a 45-minute Zoom call this is while he's suing Ripple, who was completely transparent. He's meeting for 45 minutes in a Zoom call. In other words, he's letting SBF come in and talk, just like he did with Joseph Lubin. Just like he did, apparently, with Aaron Kaplan from Prometheum. Remember, Prometheum is backed by Wang Zhang blockchain, China. So is Joseph Lubin, Ethereum, China. March 23rd, some 8 months before Bankman-Fried's empire collapsed and was forced into bankruptcy, Gensler granted what some crypto players are calling an unusual meeting to the then billionaire and prolific fundraiser for Democratic candidates, including his boss, President Biden. Well, here's the March 23rd calendar. He meets with staff. He meets with these people from Better Markets, more with staff, then some other people, and then he meets with the commissioner, with staff, with the commissioner. Okay? So Gary Gensler has hidden from his calendar this meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried. Where is it? Isn't he a public official who's supposed to have... Now remember, we know that Gary lies and hides things on his calendar because from a Freedom of Information Act request, we found out he met with, that woman who we talk about in the private group, but not out here, who was married to a president. A president who was on that island guy's island with him, who we don't talk about out here, but we do talk about in the private group. That guy. Well, Gary Gensler he hid from his public calendar. Somebody found it by doing a Freedom of Information Act request, ding, ding. He hid from the calendar a meeting with George Soros, that woman, and Nancy Pelosi. And I do mean cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, Nancy Pelosi. He met with them in a meeting. The same George Soros who specializes in offshore activity, financial activities, and destroying currencies. That's his specialty. And trying to destroy the United States of America. He's into that too. And that's who our SEC chairman's meeting with. Let's see here. I'll save this. Perry Ann Boring was on with Brad Combs and was talking about what all the Senator Warren's bill, what she's trying to accomplish, basically ban crypto, but they had a good thing. If you can go to at DropZXRP, and he's got this video here. I'm assuming it's a he. Now, in the private group, if you think that we're not living in a movie, and this isn't, and we are, and I have a feeling that we're going to have a moment in 2024 where everybody's got their mouth just dropped to the floor wide open going, what in the world has been going on? If you don't think we're living through a movie, then go into DAIXRP.com, because I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that someone in a text group I'm in, I won't say who because I don't know if they want me to say that or not, but I'm going to read, it was said better than anybody could say it in this group. right here. This is about Tucker Carlson. It says Tucker is micro-dosing the masses on disclosure. As I recall, I've heard that Tucker Carlson had a father that was like in a 3-letter agency or something. All of a sudden, this guy shows up on X after he gets fired from Fox. And let me tell you what, if you don't think we're living in a movie right now, go in, DAIXRP.com. Here we go.